And there it is, made it to the Golden Gate Bridge.
San Francisco, America's second most densely populated city after New York, is known for many things. The second largest Chinatown outside of Asia, Alcatraz Island, hills, parks, Fisherman's Wharf, and the birthplace of the fortune cookie, just to name a few. However, for a first-time visitor, one place is often at the top of the list to visit: the Golden Gate Bridge.
So this is actually my first time in San Francisco. Out of all of the years working on board cruise ships, I've never actually been to this port of call, so pretty excited to go and check out the bridge.
When arriving into the city by cruise ship, most ships will arrive into the main James R. Herman Cruise Terminal. However, don't be surprised if you arrive a little further down at the more industrial-style dock at Pier 3032, just beyond the Oakland Bay Bridge.
So the pier that we've been docked at today, it's not the normal cruise ship pier, so it's actually one that's a little bit further out of town. So the facilities don't look exactly the same, but it's pretty much a similar dock. So if you are doing this walk yourself, it's going to be pretty comparable as far as the distance it's going to be from the cruise port to the bridge itself. So let's go and check it out.
From Pier 32, there are a few different directions you can walk to ultimately end up at the bridge. Whilst none are quick, I was opting for a slightly longer version, which on paper should have been just under 7 miles, as you can see here. I picked a route that would have me following along the waterfront, ultimately coming around Fisherman's Wharf, through Fort Mason, along Crissy Field Beach, and then up to the bridge. So that was the plan.
So now it makes sense as to why we are docked at what's Pier 32. It's a pretty industrial pier because there is a Princess ship at the main pier, which is Pier 27. So this one's much closer to Fisherman's Wharf, but now it makes sense why we are at the other pier today, Pier 32.
So this is the main cruise ship terminal in San Francisco, and here you'll find a lot of opportunities for transport such as taxis, Ubers, hop-on hop-off buses. But if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, they also have these scooters.
It's fun seeing all of these scooters here today as well too, because when Katie and I were living in Brisbane, they were absolutely everywhere and they're the main way to get around. So you can actually just rent them off the side of the street through a phone app too. So if you're looking for an alternative way to get around San Francisco, these scooters might be a good option for you.
If you are sticking to the walking plan though, but want to shorten the trip, you could also cut in along Bay Street. However, if you stick it out along the waterfront, shortly you'll find yourself at Fisherman's Wharf.
So I've made it to Fisherman's Wharf, which is really the start is Pier 39. So you can see behind me here, all of the fishing boats here. So it's telling me, my watch is saying it's about 2.8 kilometers, so roughly about 1.6 miles from Pier 32 to get to this point. So we're about a third of the way.
When at Fisherman's Wharf, make sure to check out the sea lions. They started arriving here in early 1990, thanks in part to the large herring numbers, the dock space, and the protected environment. Whilst the numbers peak in the winter months, there are now a decent number of year-round resident sea lions here at Pier 39.
So out here directly behind me over here, this is Alcatraz. So this is a place I definitely want to get back to. Not really the time today, but you can take tours from just near the cruise port too. So they run ferries going out to the island. So super interesting and definitely one for next time. But you can definitely go and visit Alcatraz very easily from the cruise port.
So by this point, we have made it 2.4 miles along the journey of our mission to get from Pier 3032 on foot to the Golden Gate Bridge. After a walk along the visitor-friendly Jefferson Street and past the famous Ghirardelli chocolate factory, the waterfront stroll continues past Aquatic Cove, through Fort Mason, past the Marina District, and on to Crissy Field.
Now, don't be too fooled by the beanie and the sweater. It is actually quite a nice day here, but it is still like a little bit fresh. And directly over here, there are people out here swimming in the water, and I don't know, it's way too cold for that.
Once going through these different areas and factoring in the hills going through Fort Mason, it becomes clear that this walk might be longer than it appears on paper.
So this walk is definitely much further than I was expecting. You can see the bridge in behind me, but apparently I'm only about halfway and it's already been over 3 miles. So let's see how long it takes. So this really is a beautiful area. You can see all the boats behind me here, the houses on the other side. It's nice, it's really beautiful. You get to see a lot of the really wealthy San Francisco homes, but it is, again, much longer than I thought the walk would be. All right, so you can see here the bridge in behind me. So I've covered so far 9.4 kilometers, so just a little bit over 6 miles, a little bit further than the 4.5 miles that I thought it was going to be, but I've just come across Crissy Field and the sign now says 0.7 of a mile to go, so time to get up there.
Once you do make the final approach towards the bridge, there is a series of steps you do need to go up to get the best views.
All right, home stretch now. So we've just got to get up these stairs here now. So almost at the bridge. It's been a long walk, but almost there. So it doesn't really make all that much sense to come all this way to the bridge without crossing it. So let's go for a little walk over the bridge.
Whether you're on foot or riding a bike, both options are allowed during the daytime to cross over the bridge.
So it's pretty noisy up here, but I'm in the middle of the bridge and there's really no one else here. So I've pretty much got the whole Golden Gate Bridge to myself outside of the cars up here.
It is plenty wide enough for two-way traffic, there is solid fencing for protection, and it gives great views looking back over the city.
And this is a view behind me down of the city all the way through. So it's absolutely amazing, beautiful clear day, great view. So it's really, really nice up here. All right, so made it out to the other side. Now it's time to figure out if I can actually get some transport back from here because it's been 13 kilometers or roughly, what, 8.5 miles. I definitely don't want to have to walk back, so let's see if we can get a ride. So there we go, that is the Golden Gate Bridge. Quite a long walk from the cruise port. All in all, it was about 14 kilometers, so about 8.5 miles all the way across the bridge from the cruise port, so it is quite a long way. The good news is that I can get a ride back. To get back to Fisherman's Wharf in an Uber is gonna cost about $30, so not too bad. All in all, a good day out. Maybe take some transport one way though if you don't wanna walk the whole way, but that's it, that is the Golden Gate Bridge.